Hi everyone, Simon here with a review of Riverbond. Riverbond is a 1 to 4 player co-op adventure game that's available for PC, Xbox One and PS4. It's the PS4 version you see on your screens, and I believe it might be on Switch, but don't quote me. This game is one of those games that's going to be quite difficult for me to sell to you in terms of description, but all I'm going to say constantly is the game is more than the sum of its parts. You can play through this game entirely single player or with friends working alongside you, and you will have 9 worlds to explore, full of different levels and an end boss. This game, Riverbond, combines the world-smashing up element of the LEGO games with voxel-based graphics and very light platforming, enemy slaying and dungeon crawling and puzzle solving into like a dungeon crawlers for beginners package. Is probably the best way that I can describe it. The voxel graphics are absolutely beautiful, and it really merges well with the soundtrack, the colour palette, the aesthetic, the cute unlockable characters that you get to dress up and play with, and all of the different weapons that you unlock along the way as well. There's a variety of different types. Some of them can be really good for hacking and slashing at short range, some of them have got long range attacks, some of them are just there purely for fun. And some of the stupid ones are actually some of the most powerful, so don't diss them when you get things that shoot rainbows everywhere. But it's really good fun, and it's a weird word to describe a game. Malleable, because it feels like you're playing in a toy box, albeit voxel graphic based as you go along. It reminds me a little bit graphically of a PS3 game called 3D Dot Heroes, which took a retro aesthetic and put it into 3D and made it shiny and metallic. This kind of does the same thing, but does it in a voxel based, like crayon-y colour paint type aesthetic. What you'll be doing throughout each of the runs of the worlds, and you can choose your worlds however you see fit because the game is completely open-ended. You'll dive into the level, do some very light platforming, maybe an odd puzzle or two, but mainly you'll be slaying enemies and finding treasure chests to collect coins. You'll all be doing this together, and basically once you slay the end boss, when you get to the end of that, and you'll have unlimited continues, you can keep going for as long as you like, the one who's got the most amount of coins at the end wins, and you get to pose in photo mode and dance around and spin around with your weapon and like smack it around the head of everyone else. Friendly fire is a good thing in this game. But aside from that, actually, you're not really given any other rewards. There's no other bragging rights apart from saying, yes, I won. Your top scores are then saved so that you can then go back and do like speed runs if that's your thing, or you can try and go for a higher score. But aside from that, you and your mates just dive on to whatever world you fancy going to next. There is a very slight difficulty curve that goes across the 9 worlds as they go from left to right on the menus, but it's all a bit of a muchness because the game is intentionally easy, which is why I kind of say this is dungeon crawling for beginners. It has all the elements of dungeon crawling, but with none of the difficulty whatsoever, and you can just disengage your brain and zone out. And that's why I said it's going to be quite difficult to describe this game, and I'll keep on saying that it's more than the sum of its parts. Because if I told you that the game is easy peasy, you can complete it in 6 hours, get the platinum probably at the same time, or I did anyway, and like it's not much of a difficulty challenge, you'd kind of go, well, why the hell did you play that from beginning to end so quickly then? And it was because, like LEGO games are to an extent, although this is, dare I say, easier than LEGO games, there's something really cathartic about smashing up a world environment in a bunny costume with a giant axe. And it gets that Moorish, I'll just do one more level or I'll just do one more thing. And because it's constantly changing up what it throws at you as well, it always feels fresh, at least through the first time that you play these levels. Because it's doing different things and you want to go off and explore stuff, and there's like loads of different weapons to find, so you want to go around each square of the map and try and find a hidden cave somewhere. Yes, the levels are relatively linear. Yes, the puzzles do not take more than 10 seconds of thinking to get to resolve, but you're still having fun progressing doing it as you go along. And there's something to be said for a game that knows what it is, puts itself in its box and contains itself, but does everything in that box exceptionally well. And that's how I would describe Riverbond, because it could do, and I'll get onto it in a minute, maybe should do a few more things. But what it does do, it does absolutely superbly and is an utter joy to play when you're playing it. The only downside that I have to Riverbond, apart from the potentially easy gameplay that it has, and that comes unfortunately down to the bosses as well, is that if you are playing cooperatively with 2, 3 or 4 people, there's no specific parts of the game that cater for the fact that you have 2, 3 or 4, because when you play the game, and you can play it through from beginning to end in single player mode, which I did before I then got mates in, it was there is nothing kind of like an optional side level for if there is 2, 3 or 4 of you that you could like navigate round if it was a single player option, have a slightly different route, so that you had to actually work together to do something. It's almost like Riverbond went, do you know what, they're just going to smash up the worlds anyway, so just let them have it. And that's perfectly fine, but I feel like there was some missed opportunities there for some co-op puzzling or platforming or timing puzzles, just to break up some of the smashing, running, killing and jumping that's involved in the game itself. Just so that it gave it a little bit of a twist. But that's really the only downside that I can give to Riverbond as a whole. I hope that was informative. If you've got any comments or questions, please do leave them down below. I think this game would be really good for gamers who are new to dungeon crawling and want like a cutesy route in, which is why I think it would do really well for kids, if I'm honest, particularly under 12s. However, if you're over 12s, like me, what this is much better for is if you need like a quick 20-minute run through of a world, have it as like a competitive one. Whoever's got the most coins at the end wins, and then you like whoever's in last place at the end of each level has to do a shot. I think that makes this game so much more better. So yeah, there's my drunken alcoholic antics. Riverbond, out now. There will be a written review over on higherplanegames.com once I'm back up to full speed. But please do keep watching and stay tuned here on Higher Plane Games on YouTube as well. Take care. Bye-bye. Higher Plane Games is part of the Higher Plane Network, a collection of media projects ran by me. If you like what you see and want to find out more, visit patreon.com/Higher Plane Network. Your support can make so much more possible, be that a like, a comment, a share or a pledge. Thanks for watching.